Hi, welcome. This is Ask Dawn, and that's Dawn, and I'm Donna. And Dawn and I will tell you a little bit more about our stories as the time goes on. But Dawn and I both met in an energy working but in an energy training. So we're both got certified for being soul awakening method practitioners. And we're both starting our businesses, and we get these questions from clients and others, and we like to chat it out about how to start a business, what's going on in our personal lives. And we started asking each other these questions that we would get from clients and friends, just to kind of more for our personal development, how to relate to people, what does she think about this topic, and what do I think? So we decided we would just do it all live and on YouTube. So that is why we're on Ask Dawn and Donna on YouTube. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what energy work is. That's how Dawn and I are connected, and that's how we came together. And I often get asked when people hear about the work that I do, they like it, they're intrigued, but they're like, what's energy work? I don't know. Like, it sounds kind of woo-woo, and what does it help? And how is that really going to help me? So I have a friend / client that lives in Long Beach. Her name is Jen, and that was the first email she sent to me. So let me try to explain my perspective on what energy work is, energy healing, light work. So for me, I have always been interested in the body. I was a dancer. I went and got my undergrad in dance education. And then I went on to get my master's degree in dance movement therapy. From there, I'm a Pilates instructor. I teach yoga nidra. And everything I've been into has to do with how your body is feeling and sensing, and how the emotions play out, then how your thoughts come through, and how you articulate what's going on, and how you're connected to the divine. So all of that encompasses all about energy. So our whole body is energy, we're energy. And as I've gotten older and deeper into my profession, I've really found that the best way to help someone is deal with their energy, which is emotions and thoughts and their physical body and their spiritual practice, is with actual doing energy work. And so for me, it's the unseen thread that goes through all of life. Everything is alive, and it's full of energy, and it's circular. And energy, I see it, and it's also in Eastern philosophy, is either stuck or it's flowing. And when it's stuck, that's when things come up. So by getting into modalities and finding practitioners and working with energy and moving the energy so it's flowing, that creates balance. And in a state of balance, your body is healthy. So that is my kind of philosophy. That's where I come from, whether I'm teaching someone Pilates or I'm doing the soul awakening method with someone. So Dawn, I want to pose the same question to you. When you're asked what is energy work or healing, what do you think of or say to your clients?
Well, I come from a different perspective. I come from disease. I worked as a respiratory therapist for 15 years. And as an aside, I survived a major car accident when I was 15 years old that took a few lives and put other friends in comas. So I think it determined my pathway without me being aware of it. And so health has been an ongoing issue. And in 2004, I was in a very minor rear ender. None of these things were ever my fault, by the way. And that started me down the path of like chronic pain and health issues. I have since also been diagnosed with MS. So to say that I'm tenacious is putting it mildly. That I have sought healing for myself out of a lack of choice, truly. I was in total crisis and found I did craniosacral therapy and talk therapy with my first coach, teacher Lois. And she sent me on to this mind, body, spirit college where, and I'm a slow learner, where like the principles were being taught. And I'd be like, wow, that doesn't even land, right? It took me forever. Like I was in that class for a good 3 to 4 years before I actually integrated what it was I was learning. I was a very hard nut to crack, the barrel through, get it done kind of personality. And it all just culminated in disease, in unhealthiness. And so I've had to work and learn, and doing the work, doing the energy healing is actually healing me further. And so energy work, I almost can't explain it. It's a healing modality that literally does itself. I sit down with a client, I say, we're just going to clear some shit. We talk about the stuff. I get the questions or the things that are plaguing them that day. And I ask a question and a word comes up and I clear it and I replace the positive. And I get intuitive hits within that. Yeah, the work does itself. So energy healing, while it is woo-woo, it's allowed me to integrate all of those principles, all that understanding that has led to my wellness and to my freedom, into a place I literally didn't think I would get to.
Wow, that's beautiful. And there's a few things that stood out to me when you were talking. The freedom, really, and that it kind of works itself. It's kind of does its own kind of magical practice or healing on all levels, but it's also very practical. So that's the thing that it is hard to describe because, you can't see it. It's not like it's a pill or you do these X number of things. But also, I love that you took time and you had to be tenacious and really learn about spiritual laws and practices, because it's not just a magic wand. Even though that it's an kind of tangible thing to speak, you just know you're getting healed and feel better. There are much more scientific research studies going on right now with it. But when you're in it, you just feel different. But it does take time and you have to be dedicated. I mean, I felt that for myself. Yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? And when you're riddled with disease, when your life is a shit show and there's nowhere to go, like the hard and fast, like physio and medicine isn't quite cutting it. You're actually not getting well. They put you up to pasture and say, have a nice life. And I had to really tenaciously, and this really it's brought me back to my life, and it's created possibilities. And I'm not even the same person I was 8 years ago. And the ability to now heal others, but it's all been a part of my spiritual path to wellness, and healing others lends to that, as well as obviously helping them. So that's the beauty in and of itself as well.
That's so true, because the energy work there is that unknown, and as being just humans, we want connection, and it's within that connection that there's an energy exchange. I mean, even if you're not into energy work or this thing, most people say in the vernacular, like, oh, I got a vibe, vibes are a big thing, or I get a feeling about this, or, so you are reading people's energy and that connection, and it's either it's neutral or it's positive, or it can be like, oh, I want to stay away from that, and to work on yourselves, because healing in an energy world has a spiritual element to it. Whether you believe in God or the universe, there is something from another source that comes through to help you heal. I mean, even if you just don't believe in that, if you look at the human body, like when you have a cut, so much goes behind the scenes to make your body heal and stop bleeding, and it heals itself. So as a beinghood, we have all that unlimited potential inside of us to heal ourselves. Most of the time, whether it's talk therapy or going to see a doctor, you are blind to some of the things you might need to do, or you would have done it anyway before, or you just need, or if you know what to do, you need encouragement. You need a witness to kind of see what's happening within you to help that healing. So I feel the same way. I get as much healing when I am in a session or with clients, helping them feel better, as when I'm in a session with, say, Dawn, and we're actually doing that. When I'm the giver, I get healed in a different way, and I'm a receiver, I get healing in a different way.
And the beauty of the work and energy healing itself is really the client's job isn't really to understand it. And I say it really does do itself. Like, the words will come up and they don't always make sense. They don't always make sense, and that doesn't have to. And it's like, I'm just going to clear that shit. So we're talking about things that we inherit in our DNA, that patterns of being and of being in the world that are like holding us back from living our best lives. So while mine dramatically pronounced itself as disease, that isn't everybody's experience. And yet energy healing literally does help everyone. And I always tell clients, it's just your job to breathe and receive. And it works differently for different clients. I have a client who is well versed in energy and healing, and is a very powerful entity, a person herself, right? And how she receives the healing is profound. It's profound, and she's like transitioning through really big things. Whereas I have other clients where, just the daily life of living with 2 kids and a husband and their things have shifted for her very clearly. And there's more harmony in the home, and she's able to ask for what she needs and is getting it. So the range of what the energy healing even is capable of is quite
As you're saying that, it is quite remarkable. And also, unlike, there's not a negative side effect, not like a pill or a vitamin or an eating plan or food, that there is no downside to this particular energy work we do. But energy work in general, I think, if the practitioner is coming from a clean place too, because you also have to do my own work to be a better anything, any continuing education in whatever field you are, you're always better if you keep learning new information to put that out. But in the energy work world, especially, it's good to be a clear channel so you can help others. But it is such a nice relief for me too. So I'm not relying on Western medicine or Eastern medicine. I really could, and how it affects me is subtle in certain ways that I've noticed behaviors just kind of go away that I don't even think about that I've had. And then there's other things that are substantial that I know that's been bothering me that has changed. Like, you can't think of anything off the top of my head, but really this is for everybody, and there's not any contraindications is all you have to, and because it's not invasive. So we should talk a little bit more about the modality we do, because I also do Reiki and a few other things, but me and Dawn both overlap in this training with the epigenetics, which is the inherited DNA. And we'll talk about epigenetics at a whole other time, because that's a whole other topic. But this modality we do is not invasive. It's really about your body you ask the questions, your body gives the answers, your body releases what it needs to release. And then what is integrated back in is what your body already has in it. So say you have fear of say not, getting a job, that whatever that fear is, there's another emotion underlying it. You ask that question, we ask that question, we find an answer, we find if it's inherited or trapped, and then it's released. And then your body also tells us what you already have, that bravery in you that you want to strengthen, that is going to come before the fear, or when the fear comes up, they're more equal. They're on an equal playing field, because we're not getting rid of fear. It's kind of ridiculous to think you can get rid of any emotion, because you can't. But with energy work, you can change the level of how it affects you. So if you're always in fear, there is a way to transition. So when the fear comes up, you don't have to live there. You live there for a second, or say you live there for days. Maybe you live there for a day. And then you have different other parts of your personality and other emotions that have been integrated and built up through this work, then that's where you could go to next. So
yes. Well, and we are releasing from your subconscious mind things you may not even be aware of. And your subconscious has to allow that release to happen. So if the subconscious doesn't allow it, then it's divinely not supposed to be released yet either, right? So there's a lot of checks and balances inherent in the work that keep it pretty safe.
Yeah, very, because nothing can happen unless your subconscious is on board. And that your subconscious / ego keeps you safe and protects you. So it's only going to do something where it still feels protected. So it's kind of a fail-safe built in the whole process.
And the clients are always basically surprised at the outcome. My good friend, who has released major things in less than 6 sessions, feels like she's a whole new person. And that's saying a lot. She sought a lot of care through a lot of different ways, and I can't say enough about how to watch the transformation is amazing, right? And the work just does itself. It really she's praising me, and I'm like, but I'm a conduit, right? I don't really take credit. The work does itself. The words come by themselves, and then we just clear that shit, right? I find it that I like to keep it that simple, and that the subconscious allows me to do that. I ask leading questions, the word comes up, and I just clear that shit. And I replace it with the positive of it, and the result for the client can be so profound, but it really is that simple.
Yeah, it really is simple. It's kind of funny. We could talk about this all day. But when it comes down to it, energy work is just, especially the modality we do, is just allowing your subconscious to release what it needs to release. And it does the work itself. And you could do energy work. That's what meditation is too. You're in a different state of consciousness. You're in those realms where you can release what no longer serves your being.
Yeah. What's blocking you from living your best life?
Yeah. And it's hard to see it on your own. That's why it's good to have someone witness it, or just chat it out with you, whatever that energy exchange is. So energy work can be, we're talking about something specific modality, but also it could just be exchange of words, exchange of feelings, exchange that someone hears you and it's understood, that whatever you're putting out is received and then reflected back to you is healing, or just as much. When I was in therapy school for my dance therapy, we learn a lot of theory and a lot of technique, but and all, it's universal for all therapies or psychotherapists or clinical psychologists. It's the therapeutic relationship where the work actually happens, because you could do whatever you want to do as far as a theoretical framework. It's good to have integrity and all that stuff, but it's really that exchange and the transference that you have trust, and then your body in that trust helps you release whatever's holding you back. And this work we do, I just think is beautiful. So if you have any more questions for Dawn or I, you could email us. It's a very simple email, askdawnanddonna@gmail.com. We'll also include it in the links below. And we would love to answer any and all of your questions. We both have such a diverse background in our education, but also in energy work and a lot of life experience. Both of us put everything that we say and how we give and answer questions is because we've gone through it ourselves. We have personal, real experiences and real struggles. And we just want to help people know, first of all, that they're not alone if they have common experiences, but also that I feel like if I've been able to change my life, anyone can. I mean, like I
can get here from there, so can you. And there's strength in our vulnerability. And sharing it, it's important to like the person you're working with. But this sort of takes on a new level. But it is because we've been there.
Definitely. So tune in and see what other questions come up. Again, if you have any questions for us, please email us. If you have any comments, please or put a comment below. And if you like our channel, go ahead and subscribe. And we'll see you next Wednesday.